Hey guys, and welcome to Jenkins31, and I am here today with my top 10 third baseman right now video. You're going to see a quick flash of it here on the screen in a second, right there, but I'm going to take that off. Okay. So normally I would do these videos with Josh, but our schedules are just too hectic and too complicated to where I decided I'm just going to do this one myself. But yeah, so here we go. Once I, decide to finally get things going. Okay. So I'm going to start down at number 10. I'm actually going to start with the Shredder. The Shredder is an unbiased party on MLB Network, for those of you who don't know. It operates completely unbiased, no opinion, no feeling, no emotion, no nothing. So number 10 for them is Evan Longoria. I'm just going to run through theirs. Number 9 is Anthony Rendon. Number 8 is Jung Ho Kang. Number 7 is Kyle Seager. Number 6 is Adrian Beltre. Number 5 is Justin Turner. Number 4 is Nolan Arenado. Number 3 is Manny Machado. Number 2 is Chris Bryant. And number 1 is Josh Donaldson. So now we have my top 10. I'm trying to load some stuff up on my phone that doesn't want to load. Alright, so my number 10 is actually also Evan Longoria. Evan Longoria, he's been with the Rays for his whole career, ever since 2008, maybe even earlier. He's done pretty well over the past few years. He's definitely had some struggles, but he hasn't been doing absolutely horrendous. For example, and yes, I realize I say a lot. Hey, guess what? I don't care. I've been reading some comments. Anyway, last year he hit .273 with 36 home runs, 98 RBIs, and an on-base plus slugging percentage of about .840. Those were some pretty high numbers for him. He made his debut in '08. I was right with that. So he actually led the team in most of the categories. But he's definitely not. He's hanging in there on the top 10 of the league. He's definitely not, the elite guy he used to be, but he's still hanging in there. Now my number 9 is someone who made their debut this year. Some of you might think I'm crazy for putting him in my top 10, especially with him not even having a complete season, but it'll definitely be something interesting to see with what goes on in that aspect. So number 9 is Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman came up to the majors on July 25th, 2016. He was drafted in 2015. The kid's only 20. He'll be 23 years old on March 30th. He hit .264 with 8 home runs, 34 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and an on-base plus slugging of .791. He did all that in 217 plate appearances. He's definitely on the rise. He'll be even higher next year. I'll guarantee it. He'll crack the top 10 for the Shredder next year. My number 8 is Kyle Seager. Kyle Seager is definitely one of the more inconsistent third basemen in the major leagues. One season he'll be an all-star, and the next season he'll be like in the bottom 5 out of the top 30 third baseman in the league. Last year, Kyle Seager hit .278, 30 home runs, 99 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, and .859 on-base plus slugging. So that means that this year he'll hit probably about .220, hit 20 home runs, and 70 RBIs. I'm not even kidding. That's why I have him so low. He barely made my top 10. I almost didn't put him in there. But then once I realized I needed to put Seager in there, I'm like, he's a little bit better than Longoria. He's a little bit better than Bregman. So I had to put him in there. Number 7 is a guy who may not even be ready to start the season with some charges pressed against him with stuff back home. and even while they were on some international trip, and that is Jung Ho Gong. So Jung Ho Gong is number 7. He made his debut in 2015. He's hitting a career 273, 36 home runs, 120 RBIs, 8 stolen bases, and a career 838 on base plus slugging. This past year, he hit 255, 21 home runs, 62 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, and a 867 on base plus slugging. It's not that he's doing bad, because he's not. He's actually doing pretty decent, especially coming over from Korea. So there's nothing wrong with how he plays. I definitely see him transitioning more into back into shortstop, I should say, because that's where he started until Jordy Mercer came back from injury, and then they had to shift him over to third base once they lost David Freese to, oh God, who was it? No, he went to the Angels before I don't remember where they lost him to. Anyway, I don't know that Jung Ho Gong is going to be staying at third base. We'll have to see what happens there. So next up, we have arguably one of the best third basemen in the National League, behind Chris Bryant and Nolan Arenado. I'm talking about, from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Justin Turner, or as I like to call him, Pop-Tart. Now, a lot of people that know I call him Pop-Tart don't know why, so I'm going to tell you right now. I call him Pop-Tart because, well, he's a ginger and strawberry Pop-Tarts, so tart. And I call him Pop because when he first came up to the majors back with the Mets, he hit nothing but pop-ups. And then when he was I shouldn't say nothing but pop-ups, but he hit a lot of pop-ups. And then when he went to the Dodgers, he hit a lot of pop-ups there too. So Pop-Tart. There you go. Anyway, he is not doing terrible for his major league career. Hitting 282, 58 home runs, 282 RBIs, 23 stolen bases, and a 787 on-base plus slugging. This past year, he hit 275, 27 home runs, 90 RBIs, 4 stolen bases, and an 832 on-base plus slugging. It was hard for me to not fit him into my top 5. Him and Beltre were like pretty much neck and neck for me, but I think of the more consistency ratings when I do these. And Adrian Beltre is just a tad more consistent than Justin Turner. So that gives it away that next up is Adrian Beltre. Adrian Beltre is one of the greatest third basemen to ever, or I shouldn't say to ever play the game, but he's definitely been one of the best in a long time. A career 286 hitter, 445 home runs. Yeah, that's a big jump from some of these other guys who've only been around a few years. 1,571 RBIs, 119 stolen bases, and an 818 on-base plus slugging. This year in 2016, he hit 300 on the dot with 32 home runs, 104 RBIs, 1 stolen base, and an 879 on-base plus slugging. As you can see, that's just slightly better numbers overall than Justin Turner. Number 4. Now, 4 to 1, if you ask me, could go in any direction. You could easily have Chris Bryant number 4, Nolan Arenado 3, Machado 2, and Donaldson 1. You could have any of those 4 in any order because they are neck and neck with each other, if you ask me. However, my number 4 is Nolan Arenado of the Colorado Rockies. Nolan Arenado has risen up to be one of the best players in the game. Arguably could be the new face of Major League Baseball, if you ask me. He's a career 285 hitter, 111 home runs, 376 RBIs, 8 stolen bases, and an 851 on-base plus slugging percentage. This year, he had career high numbers in most of these categories. 294 average, 41 home runs, 133 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and a 932 on-base plus slugging percentage. That is freaking unheard of. When I heard that he didn't win the National League MVP, I'm not going to lie, I was surprised. And then I heard that he wasn't even in the running for it. I'm like, wait, what is going on? And then I looked at some of these other numbers. I'm like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So Nolan Arenado is my number 4. Next up, we have of the Baltimore Orioles, Manny Machado. Manny Machado started off as a shortstop. We all know that. But ever since he made the transition to third base, he's just been absolutely insane. He had to change to shortstop. He is their quote unquote second string or backup shortstop, behind J.J. Hardy. But Manny Machado is still arguably one of the best players in the game. He easily could have won MVP this year. Kind of surprised he didn't, but oh well. He's a career 284 hitter with 105 home runs, 311 RBIs, 30 stolen bases, and an on-base plus slugging percentage of 811. This season, he hit 294 with 37 home runs, 96 RBIs, 0 stolen bases, and an 876 on-base plus slugging. He led the Orioles as far as they could go, which, I mean, they went decently far. They didn't, actually, that's a lie. They didn't go far at all. They went to the wild card game. But, it just didn't get done for the Orioles. I definitely could see them making another postseason push next year, especially with Machado and Davis. If they can both stay healthy the whole year, could even potentially win the division. So Machado is my number 3. Number 2, staying in the American League, is Josh Donaldson. Josh Donaldson, came over from Oakland in that trade for Brett Lowry. There was that viral video of that little girl who was completely upset that Lowry was leaving Toronto and going out to Oakland. And guess what? He's not even in Oakland anymore. Anyway, he's a career 278 hitter, 141 home runs, 450 RBIs, 30 stolen bases, and an 868 on-base plus slugging. This year, again, potential MVP. And I'm trying to remember off the top of my head if he won. No, Trout won MVP. He hit 284, 37 home runs, 99 RBIs, 7 stolen bases, and a 953 on-base plus slugging. That's another one that had over a 900 on-base plus slugging. That's just absolutely absurd. He was definitely right there with Chris Bryant for my number 1 spot for top third baseman, but I had to give it to Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant, World Series champion Cub, for the first time in, 108 years? Where do you even begin with Chris Bryant? MLB career stats: 284, 65 home runs, 201 RBIs, 21 stolen bases, and a 900 on-base plus slugging percentage. That's his career numbers. He made his debut in 2015, and he already has over 200 RBIs. That's insane. His stats this year were 292, 39 home runs, 102 RBIs, and 8 stolen bases with an on-base plus slugging of 939. Let's just talk about the postseason real quick. This postseason, he hit 308, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, 1 stolen base, and an on-base plus slugging of 923. If that's not good enough for top third baseman of the league, which apparently according to the Shredder, it's not, I don't know what is. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will be talking to you guys later. Peace. I'm out.